We're here with Robert Kirkman, the creator of Walking Dead. We're all super excited about the series, and the question on everyone's mind is how closely is the show going to be tied into the comic book?
Very closely, almost closer than I would like it to be, which I like to say just because as the creator, I think I really wanted it to diverge much more, and Frank was there to say, no, your comic's good, let's do more of that stuff, so it's kind of a lot of fun, but I really wanted people to be surprised by the show. I didn't want anybody who had read the comic book to be watching the show and go, oh, I know when that person's going to die, or oh, that guy's not going to last very long, and I know exactly how that person is going to die. And luckily, Frank was very well aware of that, and so we're doing a lot of things just a little bit differently, and we're arriving to a lot of the same places in a different way, so that the viewers of the television show, if they are familiar with the comics, will still be surprised just as much as they were when they read the comics. And they're adding a lot of really cool new characters that have their own plot threads and their own stories that kind of add to the overall mix. And so what we're going to end up with is a comic book series that you can read and enjoy, and a television show that you can also watch separately and watch and enjoy, but you can enjoy them together, and one doesn't spoil the other. And so it's going to be a really cool thing.
That's great. A lot of people are also wondering, as far as the comic book series goes, does it, because you said it is going to be more diverse than what the series is actually doing, but is there like a span of trades that it follows through, or like is there a certain number of books or trades that like the first season goes through?
There are a lot of key moments from the early issues. It definitely starts at the same point, and so there are a lot of things that you would expect to see in the television show that definitely make it in. I can't really give you a specific episode-to-issue comparison, one, because it doesn't really compare, because there are things from different issues that are moved forward and things that are pushed back as they craft the television show, but I wouldn't want to spoil anything by saying, oh, it runs up to about issue 8, because then people would be able to go, oh, what's going on? Oh, I know what's going to happen. So I very much want people to be able to experience this television show as it comes on, as it's meant to be. So, and I think people are really going to be shocked with just how cool it is, and how many things that you wouldn't expect to be able to see that you're able to see, because they've really pushed the envelope on a lot of the things that you would expect to see in a show about zombies. And it's going to be really cool.
Now, you wrote one of the episodes for the first season. What were some of the challenges of writing for television versus writing the graphic novel?
It's a little different, I will say. It's a much more involved process. It takes a little bit more time. I know that when I'm writing comic books, I've done it for 10 years now, and so I'm just kind of banging them out and sending them off to the artist, and they're drawing them, and it's very easy for me because I've been doing it for so long. And then when you sit down to do a television show, on one hand, it's a completely different experience, but you have a writer's room to work with, and there's kind of a safety net of people that you can rely on, and you could talk to them about scenes, and spending time in the writer's room was amazing for me, because I just got to bounce ideas off of people and kind of see how the room works and do all that kind of stuff. And then when I went back to write my episode, I had a very good structure that I had talked through with a bunch of different people, and it's kind of like writing with a safety net. It's a lot of fun, but it's two completely different experiences, but I really did enjoy the television experience, and I hope to do more.
So is there any truth to the possibility of a second season? We've heard that it's already greenlit, it's not greenlit. Can you kind of define it a little bit more for us?
It's very possible. I know that everyone from AMC to Frank to me to all the actors definitely want there to be a second season. It's just one of those things. The buzz on the show is tremendous, and everyone who has seen the show loves the show. So, I mean, we've gotten nothing but positive responses, and everyone is very optimistic, but we just can't make a final decision until we see the ratings. So, you kind of have to show the show on air before you can start finalizing plans for a second season, but I can say that things are looking really good.
And we also just heard the announcement of the possibility of an actual novel. Is that correct? A Walking Dead novel?
Possibility? That's confirmed. We're doing a novel series based on The Walking Dead. Very excited about that. We're working with St. Martin's Press, and we're going to be taking key moments from the comic book series, key characters, and kind of showing you how we arrived at that place. The first novel, I can't really say who it is, but it focuses on a character that is not in the comic book anymore, that is very much a fan favorite, and it's basically a self-contained novel that gets him to the point where we met him in the comic book series. And so if you just get it as a novel, it'll be this really very cool novel about this guy who's very interesting and does all this cool stuff. But if you've read the comic book series, you'll have a lot more insight, and it'll be kind of a cool layered experience to be able to read the two things separately. And I'm working with novelist J. Bonansingo on those things, and so I'm very excited to see how they come out.
That's great. So we're trying to ask everyone, what are your plans for actually watching the premiere, and what are your plans for Halloween also?
I will be sick from eating all of my children's candy that they've been gathering for me all day. I like to send them out into the world,
bees.
And yes, I say, bring me candy. And so I will be very much overloaded with candy, and because I've seen the thing about 10 times already, I will probably pass out about halfway through. I'm basically just watching it for the commercials.
Oh,
so
helping out, Britta.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot.
How's it going here? We're here with Norman Reedus, Laurie Holden, and Stephen Yeun from The Walking Dead. Now, you guys, your new show is going to be starting in a couple of weeks on Halloween. We're all excited. I think we spoke with a couple of you guys back in San Diego. Now that you guys are finished filming, can you tell us first of all, what was the coolest thing you got to do on set in Atlanta in the hot weather while filming the show?
Oh, man, my coolest thing was there was a couple scenes where we got to work with firearms, and just the entire group just freaking out and just doing their thing. It was awesome. It was awesome. I can't.
Are we going to see you jumping from rooftop to rooftop?
You probably will. You probably will.
Excellent.
See that? Yeah.
Excellent.
He does some of the coolest stuff. I mean, both of them. Both of these gentlemen. I think maybe one of the coolest things was handling a firearm, getting in a few little scuffles with Rick.
Now, how are you with the shooter?
Well, Andrea starts off not knowing that she has that skill. So right now she's a girl that's carrying a gun like a dead mouse. But as the series progresses, she's going to be more badass.
And for you?
Like a dead mouse. I love that. My coolest firearms thing was I had a shotgun here and a crossbow here, and so I push people away. I shoot the zombie with the crossbow in the brain, and then use the crossbow as leverage for a shotgun on top of it. That was pretty,
and it was heavy.
Badass.
It was heavy, that thing that you had to carry.
Yeah, no,
that was a workout.
And you run with it, it bangs against your back.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's worth it once it goes off.
You had a lot of bruises.
Now, are you familiar with the comic? Do you read the comic book series? If you have, how far into it have you guys gotten?
I actually was a big fan, and I got to about issue 65, and then I stopped because that's when we started, and I kind of wanted to not get into it too much, because I remember before we were starting this, I read them all over again, and it's dark. To do it I did it in like 2 days, so I was in a bad place.
Skip ahead to see if your character's going to be there.
Yeah, right. You always check a little bit, right? You turn the page early, but
exactly. How about you guys? Have you ever read the comic books at all?
I read Compendium 1,
Nice.
and then I stopped because I didn't want to get too ahead.
Okay.
But many sleepless nights.
Absolutely. Norman?
I got into it when I got there. I mean, I knew the comic book visually, but I didn't know the characters so much. So I got into it once I got there. But like them, like you start looking at Rick and you're like, that's Andy, and you think that's Andy, and they sort of blend together. So you don't want to. I think you don't want to know too much, because you want to keep it fresh when you're doing it. Sort of.
Excellent.
And we're honoring the comic book in many, many ways, but we're also deviating from it in some ways. And I think everybody is trying to flesh out their characters as much as possible. So you don't want to be, just page for page exactly like the comic book. You're too locked into it, or the idea of what it is. You got to discover things too.
Definitely. All right. So Halloween night, AMC is a premiere. What are you guys doing for the premiere, and what are your costumes?
I'm wearing probably my old Batman costume that I had from college that I bought 2 sizes too small. It's a lot of fun for everyone else. I'll be wearing that. And honestly, I'll probably be just sitting on the couch at home in my Batman costume.
I got a cute little Marie Antoinette number, but it's kind of like a sexy Marie Antoinette, like a micro mini,
Nice.
high boots. kind of bad.
I have also that same outfit, and that's probably what I'll be wearing as
I
well.
loaned it to him.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thanks a lot, guys. We really appreciate it. We're really looking forward to the show, and best of luck to you guys, okay?
Thank you.
Nice
Take care.
man.
You too.
Yeah.
Awesome.